That's right, I'm here with all the supports we brought in today. Mike, Bobby, Ronngyu, Aurora, and Awesome Jake. We'll be doing a little support role Q and support role Q&A. I stole that from Mifflin, as well as stealing the segment from him, where we answer your questions. So not as many of my questions. Guys, if any questions are good, assume that I wrote them. And if any questions are bad, assume they're from Twitter. Could you,
Okay.
Is that fine by, okay.
Fair enough.
Great. Let's start off with a good question. Aurora?
No, I just heard the opposite.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. We'll figure it out.
That's the truth.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
okay. This is gonna be tough. They were already roasting me for not being 6 feet tall. I think I am, but I'm not sure.
roasting you. You're
Bobby
not-
was. Bobby was.
I asked a question. I said,
Okay, but it was a
no way you're
judgmental
6
question.
foot.
Right, roasting.
Question mark.
Right, a judgmental question, like I was saying. Whatever, man. Let's talk about support in Smite right now. What would you say the support's? What would you say support's current job in Smite is, Mike?
To eat damage and die.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Bobby, thoughts?
Buy beads to
Okay.
avoid dying more than you already do.
But then still,
Die.
right?
I
Okay.
feel like Rongyu's gonna have a different answer.
Yeah. Well, now the pressure's
As long
on.
as you'd be like, give Shinto as much farm as humanly possible.
Don't leave lane.
Stay in duo lane. Bring Shinto gum when he needs new ones.
Yeah, I like because the green buff, when you're Fafnir, you barely clear it, and Shinto is like, go do your buff.
Go a little swinging with my hammer a little bit. What would you say support's current job is?
Probably just be annoying, water map, and basically that.
Okay, Aurora?
I like being annoying.
Yeah.
You invented being annoying.
Yeah, just what everybody else said. I agree with everything.
Sure. Jake?
I mean, everyone likes a guy who gets in there. So you gotta get in there. You gotta be making space. And by going to Thebes. Yeah.
Okay. Buy
And
Gauntlet
Blink.
Thebes. And Blink.
And then you're a support.
Okay, then you're a support. As long as you've got Thebes and Blink and you're getting in there, you're a support. So you can do it
It's
with
that
anyone.
easy.
It's just that easy. How has that job changed over the years, though, Jake? Like when you think about support and with the type of metas that you've played in, I know you haven't been in the SPL for very long, but you've been playing Smite for a while. How do you think support has changed over the years?
I mean, back in the day, I remember it used to be like both teams would just hunt down the support because they didn't have gone to Thebes, and they were always like 3 levels behind. And that was the game for like 4 years, and then we got going to Thebes, and now like we don't die as fast. But actually, that's not true anymore because we do die as fast because boots aren't a thing anymore. So it's kind of just went full circle.
The one thing with Smite that I've noticed playing all these years, I've played since like 2012, right when the game got into closed beta, is that every year they add more damage to everybody. So the game just keeps getting faster and faster, and you're gonna take a lot of damage and you're gonna die, or you're gonna do a lot of damage and you're gonna die. It's just gonna go one way or the other.
Bloodbath.
Yeah.
Bloodbath. How about for you, Ronngyu? How has support changed over the years, in your opinion?
I think in the beginning of the year, not this year, but in support, it was like more passive. Recently, it's more aggressive. I think support can do more stuff. Before it was just picking Athena, Sylvanus, get boring gods.
Yep.
Don't play them.
Bad, man.
What's the point of playing those when you
Yeah.
can get in there and do things? Mike, when I think of like playing those boring gods like Geb, Athena, that's what everyone's playing, and then all of a sudden everyone's starting to play like Hercules and Fenrir, I think of you two as like kind of the guys who were like, I'm gonna do this, and then the enemy team was like, why don't you just do that to them?
I copied this dude because he did it. He was the only one who did it for years, and then I hear every stupid ADC and mid laner complain about, dude, I can't do anything. You have Barracuda on stream pressing his T tab. He's like, Chains did that much damage because he's just getting owned by Aurora. So I'm like, yeah, that seems good to me. You just run people down.
I mean, was that the plan, Aurora? You were sick of playing these passive gods?
I mean, I like playing the passive gods too, but you can play everything aggressive for sure.
Just got to hold W a
Yeah.
little bit more, right? I mean, Bobby, you've taken that to another level at times.
A little bit. I try.
I watched you. I'm really counter roasting you now for making
fair
fun of
enough.
my height. The last game you had this weekend, you were playing Fafnir and you were like pulling gold, and you jumped in and just like insta died.
Let me just say. Still adjusting to no tank boots.
Right.
No CCR in my build.
None.
And I kind of just was froze for 3 seconds.
You sure were.
Dude, I did that
Well,
to him.
You did get polymorph.
And then you get
Yeah.
polymorph.
And I got
Wait,
polymorph
I did that
after
to him as
that.
well. I froze for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Use
Yeah.
Fafnir.
Yeah.
Dude, he did it to me. We had a game, it was like a 30-minute game, and the whole game was stalled. We were even around fire, and I got froze. And I died in one Ymir freeze, and at the end of the game, they're like, what went wrong in that game, guys? I'm like, I don't know. We really got to not die in a Ymir freeze. That's what's got to happen.
How hard has it been to like adjust to not having tank boots? Like, has it been a big deal, you think?
You just
Not
buy
for me.
beads now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like it switched a lot. Used to go just tank boots and blink, and now you're going thieves and beads 90% of the time.
I never really bought tank boots until they got buffed like again. I know everybody thought they were OP. They definitely were really good, but I don't know. I was just kind of like, they're fine. I like them, but I also like building other stuff. So like now it's just, I kind of like it better, honestly. It's more fun.
You're not forced into it,
I
right?
used to always
I'm
buy
not
cooldown boots.
Yeah, you were a cooldown
Yeah.
boots man.
Yeah, I'm a Travelers boots man, I think, along
Travelers,
with Aurora. Yeah, I miss old Travelers for sure, but yeah, I like Travelers the most.
Wonder if that's the direction for something like a war flag.
Yeah,
It's
I had thought about that,
turn it
actually.
into like travelers.
Yeah, well,
know?
it's kind of like current passive, except like more conditional and less gold.
Sure.
Like,
Just
current
don't give
flag.
it XP like old travelers.
That
Yes.
was awesome. That was in the
That
game
was
for what, like
overpowered.
2 weeks?
Do you
It was
remember
like for a month, yeah.
Do you
Oh
remember
my
when
God.
Travelers, like, I remember watching Barra's stream one day. Apparently, this is just the Barra stream plug roll queue. And he was doing the thing where when you played Scotty and you just like put Caldier on someone, it would trigger
I remember watching that.
Travelers. And he would just like, walk through their jungle before they did their red. And he just hit like 4 players and had 80 gold at the
Yeah.
beginning of the game. And I was like, that has got to be broken.
The best thing is when Travelers gave XP, I was buying Mystical Mail as support, running around the map, just getting Traveler stacks,
Yeah.
XP off of Mystical Mail. I remember I was in a bunch of Wolfie's 2032 games
Oh,
back
yeah.
then. He's like, "Oh my God, you do this every game. You're just running around getting so much XP with your Travelers. It's just so stupid." And everybody started complaining about it. It's so funny.
So you ruined it for everyone, Aurora, is what you're saying.
I mean, I didn't put it in the game.
Fair enough. I guess you're right when it comes down to it. Was it the Travelers meta? I want to talk about some of our favorite metas in years past. Bobby, do you have a favorite meta that you can remember?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the support meta hasn't really changed too much since I've been like playing the game. So I don't know. I guess right now, if starter items were a little bit more, like if you could buy more starter items, if there's more options for support, I think this would be my favorite meta. But it's just shifted from Benevolence to now Sentinels. So I don't know. I don't think I have
I
a
like it
favorite.
right now, honestly. I think it's pretty fun right now.
Yeah.
Getting rid of boots is like definitely a huge change.
Before though, with Benevolence,
Yeah.
because I think Benevolence was more fun for supports. Before everyone bought it too.
I just think this entire season so far has been great. Like I'm not gonna like especially since they got rid of boots. I think that's been like the biggest liking point of the season so far is like I was talking about it. I don't remember when. I think I was talking about it with you a little bit in either that yours and Barra's podcast or some other interviews. Like once they did the boots change and once they added the couple other map changes this season, that's what's really felt like the new season to me. And since then, it's felt like really good, and I've really enjoyed this like meta in this season so far.
Love to hear it. Jake?
I think supports got nerfed like because of like the boots removal because like carries they would get like they would have to go boots and then have to go their stacking item and then you could go like Sov or something or you go tank boot Sov and you could just run at them for like 5 minutes or something. But now they get Ichevol and then you're just like not killing them, not ruining their life.
I know for a fact if you try to play Pele and Dual Lane now, it's a little bit harder as the hunter because Ichevol exists. I still made it work,
Okay.
but it's harder to do.
It's harder to do. The Pele support got nerfed pretty
No,
heavily.
Hunter.
Oh,
not
Pele
support.
Hunter, excuse me. Yeah, Pele Hunter.
I played against it once. It was an absolute menace.
Yep, gotta watch out for it. Ronngyu, how about for you? What was your favorite meta you've played in?
I think this one. I didn't like the invading meta because I was bad, I guess, because I was SML. I didn't have practice. But maybe now I could be good at invading. Who knows?
You'd
I
be
feel
good
like-
at it. You'd be good at it.
I feel like you'd be good at it.
100%
Yeah.
you'd be good at it.
Yeah, because you just gotta. Okay, Mike, or Aurora, you guys were like the invade masters.
That's the grandfather. of it.
Okay.
Yeah, explain the
For-
invade meta.
For invading, I was talking to Hindu about this right when I got here today. We were talking about metas, and invading is a lot of fun, and I love doing it. But that particular meta, I did not enjoy that much. I'm gonna be honest, especially towards the end, because if you made one mistake or did one thing wrong, the game was over. Like
Right.
going back to Game 3 at Worlds against SK when we lost.
Yep.
I built Sunder because the start we were doing. So Game 1, we did our start with Horrific. It worked out really well. Game 2, they matched us in the jungle and we had a 5v5 fight. So it was like, okay, if they match us again in the jungle, I want a Sunder if we're going to fight them. We'll win the fight with a Sunder. So it gets to Game 3, I go Sunder. They don't match us. And then I have a Sunder instead of Horrific. Sam goes to our speed buff. Solo finds him at our speed buff. Fearlesses him into his speed buff, but he's Pele. So he walks out with his 3. He has Blink. If I have Horrific, the game's over on the spot. But I had Sunder then.
Right.
So if you make one mistake like that in that meta, it felt really bad.
Punishing.
So I didn't enjoy like that meta because of how it worked with how items were and how one thing could affect the whole game, and the game was basically over in the first 3 minutes if
Right.
you played it well enough.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I remember that meta so well because I, as a caster, I was like, I have to really, for Worlds in particular, I was like, I have to really know who's winning in each of, because it was like there were so many starts. We've never had that many starts before, where one team would start at enemy speed and you're red and like all this stuff. And what I remember kept having to say, like, it is not about getting the speed. Like, I felt like so many supports were like dying to try and secure the speed itself. And I was like, it's not about, that was the one thing that I learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't about getting the speed, it was about wasting as much of their time as possible and being able to keep them on your leash as long as you could, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how Aurora viewed it, but back then when I was doing it, I looked at the clock. Like, people would look at the kills or they'd look at their gold and they'd be a little ahead, and I would just look at the clock, and if I'm getting to like a minute 30 and they kill me, like I played with Twig at the time, Twig would get like 2 levels ahead of their jungler. Suddenly, like he's able to have pressure on like ganking their solo laner, and like you look at 10 minutes down the line and the residual effects from that. It was a lot. That was my favorite meta in terms of like flexibility in the role. Like if you played like say Herc, for example, your level 1 and your invade would be so good, but like Worlds that year, I invaded as like Khepri and Fafnir and these other later game picks, and I felt like it opened up more variability in what gods I could play, and I felt like currently right now I actually dislike this meta a good bit because I think a lot is dictated. One, I don't like that I have to buy Hog every game for clear speed. And I think the picks have been pretty like stagnant, which can change over time over patches. But right now, like getting to lane, if you miss that first creep and you don't hit level 2, that shifts your laning phase like instantly. Whereas before, I had a bigger range of characters I could play, and I wasn't as reliant on, say, my ADC and mids like red clear to get me to lane fast enough. And I think it felt a lot better. I think my other meta that I liked a lot was actually last year. I think after they nerfed like a few pressure gods, last year's like Foss Split I liked a lot too. I think like you started playing like Khepri and stuff a bunch. Like they were just like supports who you would previously see like play a lot of pressure. You would see kind of like try other styles. Like Ronngyu was previously playing like a lot of like team fight picks. You started like playing Herc and stuff like that. And I feel like you just had every support was playing like every style in that same split. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I think that thinking back to last year, definitely a lot of different styles emerged, and I'm hoping that right now I think we're kind of in a cycle of, all right, well, if we want to go late game, we pick Terra. If we want to go early game, or they like don't pick well against it, we just go Ymir and like blow them out that way. But I think we're already starting to see like some more support picks emerge this year. I mean, you guys have been spamming Ares in a lot of games and making it look pretty good.
Not game 2 yesterday.
Well, not game 2 yesterday.
He kind of destroyed me in that one.
Ares cannot get through your Mojo wall. Yeah.
Yep. Ares cannot get through your Mojo wall. Dude, I felt so bad for you in that game, Aurora, because you blink and you get like 3 people with your Ares ult, and they
I
would
also played it. I didn't play it very well. I feel
Sure.
like he played it very well, and I played it very poorly. And when those two things happen in a game, it's gonna look really bad for the person that's playing it very poorly.
It's like-
That's for sure.
Aurora like locked into your Mojo ult, and his whole team like, what is going on over there? Is that? Oh, he's dead again. Okay, like that's just how it goes.
The one thing you said about the red buff clear is, I think, the biggest issue I have with this meta actually is because that's your lane. Whoever wins lane, whoever has better red buff clear, I say 75% of the time is probably going to win the lane, which kind of is lame to a point. But yeah, Red buff clear is very, very important, and it's funny that like you know that, and I feel like people don't understand that in ranked, and it drives me crazy sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was literally about to ask. My next question on the list is your biggest ranked pet peeves. Like, what are things that your ADC does in lane that
This
you hate?
season, just the red buff. If you don't know how to pull red buff as a hunter at this point,
Yeah.
So I was telling, like, Cherry started doing YouTube videos when he was our coach, and I was like, he's like, my wrist, he's been having some wrist issues. So I'm
Sure.
like, instead of playing, you should make, or someone, if any YouTuber wants a good YouTube video, they should make a guide on how to pull the red buff as a hunter.
Yep.
And they should have a guide on how to pick up the purple buff as a hunter, and then how to get to lane, because it would make ranked so much better, because like I'd say 50% of my games, people mess up the red buff pull and it ruins the lane completely, and it's very frustrating.
Yep. I know, like, Mike, I've heard you complain about hunters like auto attacking purple when it's 1 HP
Yeah.
and you just want them to like
Just pick it up.
Yeah.
Keep walking.
just
Yeah.
pick it
Yeah.
up.
My number one pet peeve is hunters not left clicking the wave. They like try to poke the enemy support, and then they get like stunned and take all their health, and then I'm like, awesome, we lose clear. I just want them to left click the wave.
That's the
all I
story as old as Smite.
Yeah.
Hit wave, win game, hit them, lose, basically in lane.
Bobby?
I mean, it really is just like the first minute and a half in ranked. Either I'll know my ADC is a good player, or he's trolling me, and it's decided by how he clears red and if he's hitting the wave. Everything else doesn't really bother me that much, but those two things, I'll instantly just like get infuriated.
Yeah,
Sure.
because your early game really hinges like on the fact of how well the early clearing and how they're attacking the wave and stuff. If they're messing that up in ranked, like you're just at a disadvantage, and there's nothing you can do really about it unless the other team makes a mistake. So it just that feels really bad.
Right. Ronngyu, how about for you?
Well, when my ADC don't use his relics properly.
What are you talking about that, man?
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had that problem with Netra a lot, and this is a funny story because we played Jake in playoffs. He was playing Ares, I think, and Netra was playing Heim, and then Netra was trying to TP while Jake was with
Shading him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do I remember that?
and then he was like, "Wait, I cannot TP." I was like, "You can't. You need to use bit for that."
He's like, oh, I gotta use beads.
Yeah,
Who knew?
Yeah.
Ronngyu did. Jake, how about some of your pet
so
peeves?
what I hate the most in ranked is like so we're like 2v2ing and I'm getting in there, like I'm trying to get wave pressure, and my ADC is just like back there, just like throwing his autos, just watching me like trying to get pressure.
Yep.
And then like they'll like Ymir freeze me, and then like Honor will jump in on me, and my ADC will just be like watching
Running
me.
away.
And then they VGS retreat. They say retreat. They full commit to. They're like retreat. We're in trouble. Oh my god.
That is
Man, I'm surprised. Like, the other thing that tilts me, and it was happening a lot at the beginning of the year, like when Chiron first became meta, how many times did we see, like, supports and ADCs alike? They hit the Chiron hits level 2,
Oh.
he dashes in and kicks you back, and they
You
die
die.
for free, and it's like, who could have guessed that this would happen? Or like, the Onher jumps in, the Ymir freezes me, and it like, dying to those tilts me instantly. I don't know. I can't handle
I think
this.
it's like you don't know who's gonna hit level 2. Like when you're going into the lane, like you kind of have to step up to like do it. And if like the Chiron hits level 2, it's gonna look really bad. But if you hit level 2, then it's not gonna look that bad. Cause like
Right.
I think the biggest thing is with Benevolence is because of the sharing mechanic or whatever, and then the XP for 5, it would kind of just mess up how fast everyone hit level 2.
Yep.
With Sentinels, it's a lot easier to read who's hitting level 2 first, but with Benevolence, it was like
Well,
sometimes the support and ranked would proxy the ADC and hit level 2 off of, I think it was 3 melees, and then you just get like froze by Ymir and just like locked down while the ADC is still on level 1. So like it was a lot harder to read Benevolence, but Sentinels makes it a lot easier.
Sure.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Roy?
yeah, no, your point's really good. I remember Mike was doing that a couple games where he was zoning Panda Cat off of purple buff smalls and then getting level 2 with Benevolence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
remember
my
that.
XP. Get away from
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
What's he going to do with it? All right, talk to me about some of your favorite non-meta supports. You know, not your traditional guardians and assassins. Jake, I feel like it's appropriate that I start with you.
well, I think Morgan is really fun.
Okay.
You can just like auto people, and like the dot on them is actually really sick.
Yep.
Saw
And
that the other day. I think it was either Lasbra or Haddock streaming. I saw you were Morgan in their game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one didn't go well. But so you build beads, Wingblade, Magi's, and you just be like as annoying as you possibly can, and then you get to have fun every like 2 minutes. You turn to whatever god you want,
Right.
and then you just get to have fun.
Yeah, like if my team's complaining like, oh, we don't have a support, just transform into their support.
Yeah.
And then you got a support. So what are they complaining about? You know? All right, I'm with it. Morgan support, Aurora.
Any of the healers are fun for me.
Okay, some Chang'e support.
Hell, Chang'e,
Afro.
Emoji's good. Afro, yeah. Any
Yep.
of the healers are always fun to play, yeah.
Some old school Mealsy tech, the hell support.
He got
He
that
stole it
from
from
me.
him. Yeah, he stole that
Oh,
from
that's
Aurora.
true. You did that at
Yeah.
the All-Star event or something,
Yeah,
right?
that's what Mealsy told me. He's like, as soon as you played that, dude, I played it every game in rank. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Ronngyu?
I think it's Nasha.
Okay, yeah.
When I was in the minor league, I was against Cryptic or Armada, and I stole the Fire Giant with my 3 that I didn't know it was.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
I-
did AoE
Yeah, and
onto
I
it.
didn't know that
Yeah.
D3 wasn't AoE. It was like, wait, I stole the Fire Giant. But yeah,
That was one of the craziest
clean.
fire seals I've ever
Yeah.
seen. I
What's
actually remember
with
that really well.
What's with like SCC and Crazy Fire Giant steals?
I don't know. man.
Remember the one where Kiki was Nike and he stole it off a Fire Giant
Oh,
pool
yeah.
with thorns?
Yes, he stole it with thorns.
With thorns, yeah, off a Fire Giant pool. He was the only. They had 5 people in the pit. He was Nike. The rest of his team was dead. He popped thorns, not to steal Fire Giant, just because he went
Right.
in, and it stole fire off the fire pool.
Yep. No, that was
Yeah,
crazy.
1v5.
Was Sino? Did Sino steal a fire giant? Was that SCC when
No,
he stole
that
it with
was-
a golden blade?
That
proc?
was SPL, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember him stealing with an Arachne golden blade proc. That was also absolutely crazy. Bobby, some off-meta supports. I saw your stream title the other night was Mage supports.
Yeah, I was
How'd that go?
It actually was pretty good.
Okay.
It's fun to play mages because like mages are just like by far they have the best items, the best gods, like the most fun gods,
The most handsome players.
shortest players. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I think mages are a lot of fun. I think like Disco's really fun. Nox. I think like Eset and Baron are classics, but I don't think they're too fun. And then I think Ryzen's a lot of fun.
Raijin support.
Yeah.
Huh? Are you going utility like Gem
No,
of Isolation?
I build Thieves and
Okay.
then like full damage and
Right.
then Embrace.
Okay. So now
And I'm
you're-
support.
You're messing up.
And
You
you're
gotta be Boon Goon in that.
Yeah, but
It's-
That's
you
a
need the
boon
gold,
goon all
right?
day.
I just like double aura. I feel like I can call myself a support.
Oh man, that's a Boon Goon all day. You skip the Thebes as well. Straight the Magus. Magus, straight the Karen's coin, Boon
Yep.
Goon.
That
you're good.
Karen's coin on supports, if you're playing like a mage, feels so good.
Why is it extra good for supports?
It's just because you get like that. Well, not necessarily. It's a broken item in general.
Because you're flipping coins.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
And actually, that's one of the best sounding things in the game when you hear that
Yeah,
coin
well,
flip.
Ding. Yeah.
I just know I earned 1 gold right there.
And you really
I
earned
earned it. I
Yeah,
earned
you
it.
really earned it. Mike, how about for you?
Baron's my favorite god in the game, so probably a little Baron. I was gonna say Afro as well before Aurora said that. Afro is really fun support. My personal favorite Hunter support is Chiron, of
Okay.
course. You have a Sobek Pluck, you have a Geb Shield.
Right.
You have just like a map-wide slow, basically, if you're aiming your alt well enough.
Right. Global slow. Yeah.
This is a global slow. I scrimmed with Chiron a lot, undefeated with it in scrims.
Okay.
It's nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's
write
nice.
that down, fellas. Chiron support could be coming out. No love for Neil Ma's Hachiman support.
No.
I know
Hachi
it's
is a
favorite.
garbage Hunter
That is one of the
support,
worst
man.
supports
Yeah.
for hunters.
But, okay, Neath, honorable mention next to
Neath.
Chiron.
Wait, on
her,
Neath-
on her.
You guys
on
are
her.
right on her.
No, Neath and on her are
Neath and
fantastic
Honor, yeah.
supports.
And
Yeah.
Dan's. Danzaburro is really good too.
What
I can
about
see
the
that,
Jeff
though.
Hinla Apollo support?
No,
Wrong.
Bad.
Okay. You got a Mez, you got a knockup, you
Bad.
got a speed boost. You tell your team take these ports.
Oh,
as
I'm sorry,
dash.
you didn't name a Chiron.
Cupid is actually not too bad either.
Cupid's
Cupid's
fine.
pretty good.
Okay.
Cupid, if you're playing Regrowth Cupid, he's
Okay.
No,
zooming.
you just play full cooldown and you just like walk around the map just
Yeah,
healing
with
everyone.
regrowth, yeah.
And
Do you
heal
remember
everyone.
wasn't there like a patch or something like that where regrowth Chiron worked, where it worked off your passive?
If it did, that was broken.
I think it did work. I think I played it one game. It was really fun, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
Neil is going to be very upset with all of you that none of you like Hachiman support, by the
Listen,
way.
I
It's got a slow. I've got to advocate
his
for it.
one is garbage. His one's garbage
His
for
one is
support.
okay, yeah, but every other ability is good. He's Fafnir 2 on the 2.
Okay, Fafnir too?
You got a stun, and then you
Not
got
really.
and then you got a global slow.
No,
you
it's not
got-
a global slow. My global slow is unimpeded by objects.
Sure.
He can be line of sight.
But you got to hit it, and like maybe.
I've never missed.
Oh, okay. Well, if you never miss, then it's global. I suppose you're right.
There we go.
All right, my favorite time for this part. Oh boy, I got to speed it up. We got to do the Q&A. Oh, we got to describe each other's play styles. I think this is very fun. Let's start. Let's everyone talk about Awesome Jake 408. Huh? Let's start with him, and we'll go around the table. Mike, when you think of Jake, what do you think about for his play style?
Jake is like new age Aurora to me. Like when I first started playing, I had everybody complain about how like Aurora played. And now I think Jake is just like the new version of that for like the up and coming players now. Like all the ranked players that are like starting to come into the SPL, Jake is like their hero. He's like that. he's getting in there. He's running it down. I think that's the best way to describe Jake. Jake is also honorable mention, maybe one of the best support like role swappers. Jake on ADC
True.
is potent in ranked.
I mean,
it's nice.
The Chernobog 08, the 408 is
Exactly.
unbelievable. I mean, no one is disrespecting that, that's for sure. Bobby, what do you think about when you think of Jake's play style?
It's probably the most frustrating style to play against because it's like every time you're playing, all you hear from your backline is, "Why is Jake on me again?" Like, bro, he's gonna come to your red buff. That's what he does, and it's like kill or be killed. Like, kill him, or he's gonna kill you.
Right.
And that's basically Jake's.
Keeps him honest. I like it. Ronngyu, what do you think about for Jake?
I think Jake tries to be in your head as a carry, and then he baits, and then his last bar waiting on the corner, patient, like, "Come on, Jake, you can do it." Yeah, basically that.
Yeah, Aurora?
Yeah, Jake just likes to get in there, and I respect it. And I feel like I remember. Do you remember this conversation we had about Jake during season 6 SPL? I was telling you, I'm like, dude, Jake is a beast, and you're like, dude, there's no way he's so bad. That's what you said. I'm like,
Okay, well, Jake, you had lost me a lot about MMR.
And I said, and I was like, dude, Jake's the real deal, and you're like, you're like, there's no way, and I'm like, bro,
I did think that.
Dude.
And then just look at next
right.
year.
Dude, when he got pulled up to like the SPL, it was me, you, and Snoopy. We were the only 3 people who were like, Jake is gonna be good. Like Jake's gonna be a beast. Everyone's like, this guy ints my Rangi. He sucks. I hate him.
I was like, is Osiris support really gonna work at the SPL? And you played one Osiris support game.
If I didn't get ganked, I would have owned.
That's clean.
I love
Osiris
how quick
owns Uller, owns Bacchus.
That's what you gotta be though. That's why Jake's Jake. That's why he's that good.
I agree. Jake, did you have any doubt that you were gonna? Were you like, all right, I gotta not troll so hard, or were you like, no, I'm just gonna go in there and do my thing?
Playing it's like the other support players in ranked, I was like, wait a second, this guy's not that good. Like, and then like when I came in, I was confident. I thought I could that was as good as everyone else. And,
Yeah. I think you proved that you are. Let's talk about Mike then, Jake. We'll start with you. We'll kind of go in a weird circle. What do you think about when you think of Mike's play
Mike's
style?
been someone to who's been at the top of the game for a while. Someone like that you can we always want to learn something playing against him. I think his god picks are really good. Like the Fenrir, I think he was the only one who played it for a long time. When Fenrir was actually OP, if you didn't go beads, you were just gonna die. Mm-hmm. And I think Mike was pretty good at showing that. And he's just always been a top player, and he's a really good 2v2er. I think it's really hard to beat them in the 2v2. Mm-hmm. And you're a great player.
There you go. Aurora, your thoughts on Mike's play style?
Just super consistent over the years. When's the last time Mike's not been at least towards the top or competing for anything? And very versatile god pool. He likes to play. He can play a couple different styles and do them very well. And it's just consistency. He's probably been the most consistent support player that's out there.
Yeah. Ronngyu?
I think Mike is very, very smart. He has very good mechanics, and sometimes when you see a player, it's like, okay, he's smart, but he doesn't have good mechanics. But I think Mike is smart, and he has very good mechanics.
Tell his team that.
He was talking
smart
about
thing.
He was talking about me.
Really
smart, no mechanics.
I thought it might be the other way.
I'm a genius.
I thought he was talking about Herwin. He's like, this guy's smart, but he doesn't hit a button.
But he's an engineer, though.
I have to.
But he's an engineer. We all agree.
I like it when Tyler misses you know how sometimes Scylla's will miss one creep with the wave with their crush. I like to go, Tyler, does Roppy not do damage to creeps? Can you not clear a full wave? And he loves it. It's my favorite thing.
I'm sure he does. Bobby, when you think of Mike's play style, what do you think of?
I think he's probably even out of support. I think he's one of the most calculated players there is. even going into picks and bans, I think he has like an idea of kind of how the game's gonna go, and he's kind of just always where he needs to be because he just is thinking like kind of far ahead, kind of like it's chess. And I think he's the biggest thing is he's just super calculated.
Mike, do you know how to play chess at all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would destroy you.
Okay. Understood. Sorry, sir. How do you think your playstyle has changed over the years?
I think like I see it with like Aurora as well, like just because of the 5 of us we've been around the longest, like just going throughout the years, you're forced to change with the metas as they come and go and the god changes and everything like that. So that's what I take a lot of pride in, is trying to like not be stubborn and recognize when things are changing, and then just trying your best to like practice those. I think there are players who are very good at like one style, and I try really hard to kind of like Bobby said, like to really think through the game and think about what I think is best, and then to like really practice that.
When you think of, we'll kind of transition that since you were just talking about Aurora. When you think of Aurora's playstyle now, what do you think of?
Aurora's weird because I actually think like people will credit like say Jake's playstyle now or maybe how I was last year, but Aurora really did invent like that aggressive style of support. Like he was the first one to play like Fenrir. Aurora I think has innovated more than any other player. Honestly, in any role in Smite's history, like Aurora has like single-handedly created like 2 invade metas, like Season 3 Worlds and Season 6 like invade meta. So I think that's my biggest thing with Aurora, is that he's just a very like creative and innovative player. Right now, I think there's a little bit less freedom in the game to do that. So I think like just as like an individual player, you just see him as just like a good player. But that's my like memory of Aurora, is just like always being like creative, always innovating, thinking differently than other people, that type of stuff.
Bobby?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I agree with is his creativity. He has an idea of like what he wants to do and like how he wants to play the game, and he'll just like kind of make it work. Like if you look back at like the season, I didn't really play or watch during Season 3, but the Season 6 invade meta, like watching it, it doesn't seem like it would make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense, but it actually it's genius. It actually makes so much sense. And I don't know, he's very innovative too. And yeah, I mean, I think he just does a really good job also thinking about the game like Mike, but his is more ideas surrounding it. And I just think a lot of the stuff he comes up with is pretty genius.
Ronngyu?
Yeah, so when I start playing support, I always look at about Aror because he was playing aggressive, gods like Hercules, Ares, and all the stuff. I think he's very creative. Like if someone is playing Ymir, he will just go whatever or try to like find a way to beat that or find a new strat. He's really open in the Guardian role.
Yeah. Jake?
So, like Aurora knew Hercules was broken like 2 years ago. He let everyone know. He showed it. And I remember like there's one scrim you're playing Ymir, and then you just like kept running it down into my team, like into my red buff. You're like, you died, but you should keep going down. And then we'd have to like come back and kill you every single time. And my team was complaining, like, what is this guy doing? Like, Jake, you need to do this. Like this guy, you just run it down in Ymir. And like, yeah, like that was pretty crazy. But yeah, I think you've like always been like the like annoying player that like all the carries complain about. And yeah, you've just been doing it for so long.
Aurora, how much stock do you put in that part of your game, like the creativity that everyone's talking about? Do you find that that's as important to your game as these guys seem to think it is?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's like part of the fun. Like, you play Magic with me. I like to do things differently sometimes.
A little weird, yeah.
But just with anything, I always try to figure out something that's going to work for me, and just something that I know that people can get around and have fun and enjoy, and like in it to be good, basically.
Yeah. Just thinking a little bit outside the box.
You know,
He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's clean.
Aurora, let's talk about Bobby then. Since he's come into the league, how do you think Bobby's play style has changed, or what do you think about when you think about his play style, what do you think of?
I think he's like for sure one of the better like mechanical supports that came in. Like I feel like he plays like a bunch of the gods pretty well, and I feel like he's a player that's like picked up like things really fast. Because like when did you start playing Smite? I don't even know, honestly. Like did you
Like
start
actually playing Smite?
Yeah, like actually trying to play like competitively.
Competitively.
Yeah, where you started to be like
Season
feel serious about it.
4.
Season 4, yeah. So
Or
like
fall Season 3.
yeah, fall season, like he hasn't been playing. I feel like as much as like other, but I feel like he's picked up so many things like so fast.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Definitely. Jake?
Well, I remember like last year, you were like in the league, you would get like first player at every game, and now this year, that's not happening. So like you're getting better. I think you're pretty good at like the Ymir, like the walling, pretty good. Hopefully you and Stuart can like own.
Your Ymir did own me last year, I remember.
Yeah.
I was Kabrakan, you were Ymir, and you kind of put me on the ground a couple times in a row.
Put him in the dirt a bit. Mike?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny you guys mentioned Ymir because I remember last year before Renegades were like getting pretty good as well. You guys were like the bottom 2 teams, but both of them were spamming Ymir, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like even though they were like the 2 bottom like teams or supports or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're like onto something that this is good, and I think like. Kind of similar to Jake, I think Bobby has a god pool that he's good at, and I think just consistent with everyone else. Like playing, like no disrespect to console, it's a different like world from
Sure.
SPL, and I think like if you watch a game from last year's spring split to now of Bobby, it's like night and day. Like that progression is like it hits you so fast in the SPL, and I think that's what I noticed with Bobby is like just split to split, just like pretty rapid improvement, and I think a lot of people they don't give him that credit or they don't see it because your team success hasn't caught up to that yet. But that's what I think of Bobby is I think like picks that he's really like consistent with and good at and like sticks to his guns even if you're not getting the results, and then also just individual improvement.
Yeah. Ronngyu?
I like his unique gods. Like even when Hercules, for example, in this meta in support, I think it's bad. He pulled it up, and he's probably the best Hercules support right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen his Yemoya recently. He's been like a lot better. Like he's been playing a lot of Yemoya.
Well,
like
it wasn't very good at the beginning. It's hard to go any worse than that.
The first 80% CDR emoji game.
Okay. In my defense,
Uh-huh.
hold on, let me think of a defense first.
You're doing great.
But your emoji though is actually pretty good now.
Yeah?
But like the 80% CDR emoji, that's in the past, so that's good. That is good.
Okay, I found a defense.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I wasn't really considering the cooldown. I was just like, this item sounds good right now. This will help.
Bobby, I wouldn't really.
Wait,
I'm thinking that'll help a little.
70% cooldown. A Mirrodin works great right now.
No.
It doesn't work on the character though.
No.
I think it used to.
No, man.
No.
It never worked on the character. It never worked on the character.
Okay, I found a new defense.
Okay.
I was like a 50 worshiper Yamoja back then.
Okay.
So I didn't know the god well enough.
Okay,
I was
right.
just picking it because it was a top. I mean,
But you
it's
do
still
know the item shop. Yes. I hope.
I've only been playing for a few years now.
That's fair. Still new but learning.
Yeah, we're still learning.
Still learning in that way. I mean, Bobby, it's been. I agree with what Mike was saying, what they were all saying. I think the thing that I noticed the most about you is that you haven't slowed down your improvement. That the improvement has been noticeable each split, and you think like, okay, the first few splits, of course, he's going to get a lot better, and then it'll start to slow down. But I really don't think that it has for you yet. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think a big thing that he kind of touched on with console is I was widely considered like the best console support, like by far.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think it just kind of showed how much like different, I don't want to say like skill level, but it was a little bit of skill level, just like how much better the teams were kind of.
Yeah.
Because when I joined SPL, I thought I was going to be pretty fine off. Like I thought it was going to be like really no different, maybe just like higher, just slightly like rival. There's going to be like just more rivals in the league,
Sure.
like teams that could compete with us. And it was not. It was not. I was bad. But yeah, I mean, I just try to improve. Like every day, I just try to like go in with the mindset that I just want to get better, and then
Sure.
hopefully, yeah, I get better.
I think it's been working for you. All right, I'm sorry, Ronngyu, we got to keep you short though because we're running out of time. But Mike, when you think about Rongyu's playstyle, what do you think of?
I think Ronnie is one of the like most cocky, in a good way, like cocky and arrogant. Like I view him as a very confident player, like especially mechanically. Like I think you go into a team fight and there's some players like you have to assume that they're going to play it well, like they're going to hit their buttons correctly and that he's going to like position well around his team, and that's what I think of Ronnie with. Like, last year was kind of our first time getting to play against that team consistently, and right off the bat, I noticed that with him, that like he was always like very consistent in their team fights. He was very good at like fighting with his back line, and like just mechanically the way he sequences stuff, he didn't really have a big learning curve to me, and that's like my biggest thing with Ronnie. Bobby?
I think he knows items probably better than everyone, of like how much damage he can take, how much damage he can deal. Because there's times where he'll like Fafnir dragon you and then like walk away and you're like, I'm good, and then you just die. Because he just like knew he was gonna like be able to kill you. Or like being able to take a mage ult and still be able to get out fine, or get enough ults on him that even if he does die, they win the fight. And I really think that nobody knows just how much damage they can take and how much damage they can deal, at least in support. Like Ronnie's just the best.
Aurora?
Like for me, I remember playing Ronnie before he was in the SPL, like scrimming you guys like on the original like scrim roster you had, and just the amount you improved in such little time is like so crazy. Like you're so good now. Like your mechanics are definitely like top of the league for the supports for sure, and like
Agreed.
just the variety of gods you can play as well. Like for me, remember playing against you back then and now playing against you now, it's two completely different players, and just the way you can learn things and the way you can kind of throw your own twist onto them is just so good. And yeah.
Jake?
Well, so I think if I miss a Sovek pluck, you're gonna let me know I missed that Sovek pluck. Yeah, I think you're like really good at like playing with your back line, and just like I think you're really good defensive, and like you're really good hitting your abilities, peeling for your boys, and also like you get behind. Like usually some games I'm usually like ahead of you, but you're like giving the farm to Shinto or something, and you're like really good at like playing like behind like everyone else, and yes, playing with your back line.
Ronngyu, for me, I remember when you guys were first coming up to the SPL last year, and it was, we think Shinto is going to be good enough. We've seen Netrioid at this level, all that kind of stuff. But we don't know exactly how good like their front line's going to be, because Yarkor hadn't traveled for lands. You hadn't had that same level of success in those small like land games as the back line. But I think that as you guys went on through the season, I think that you can make a really good argument that, especially now, that you are the most important member of that team identity to me. Like you are creating so much space. Do you feel like you have grown to that level, and do you think that you maybe deserve more credit than what you've gotten?
I think I'm getting enough credit, but I think the difference is like, so when I was in the minor league, I didn't have much time to play because I had to go to university and other stuff. And now when my first year I was grinding the game like 24 hours. Like, I was like watching streams. I was like trying to like perform. And now I'm not doing that anymore, because last year I think I played a lot. That now I can do it like slowly and focus more on strats or study the enemy. But yeah, I think it's a difference because now I have only time for Smite.
Only time.
Yeah,
It really showed, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like the work you put in, like you got so much better with the amount of practice you played. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and to say, like, you could slam a Q at any time, and there's a 50% chance you have Ronnie and Netroid on the other team playing Ymir and on her, and they're
right,
just
or like
stomping.
Uller, like what Uller was
50%
really good.
chance that they're in that
Yeah,
queue,
and
and
you're like,
they're
oh, I guess I lost. Like,
Yep, GG's.
We've got a random duo lane, they've got Sanguine duo lane, we lost. Like, that's just how it went back then. All right, we got to go into the Q&A. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do all of it, and it's my fault because I asked too many questions. But let's start. We're going to do just a quick little rapid fire, all right? We'll just go around the table real quick. From basically, when and why did you decide to start maining support, Jake?
The SPL support line was pretty small.
There you go. Aurora?
I was a jungler, and my jungler in 2012, 2013 never went to mid camp. So I was like, my support when I played jungle never went to mid camp. So I'm like, I'm gonna play support. I'm gonna go to every mid camp, and I did that.
Years later, you're still at mid camps. Ronngyu?
I was solo. My team needed support main them.
There it is.
I was a solo. I got an offer to play support in like season 3, and I went to support.
There you go. I was born for this. Okay, man. All right, fair enough. This one's very important to me. Which Smite dog is the cutest? Munch, Ramsey, Ellie, And they didn't even mention Mackenzie, my dog, which is a horrific act from a relevant account, but I'm going to let it go. Mike, do you want to?
Mackenzie.
Thank you.
I don't think I can say. I can't. Really
Mackenzie?
I can't cheat on my dog.
Oh, and your dog. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, your dog.
Thank you, Ronngyu.
Are you guys kidding me? It's Munch.
Okay, Munch is great.
Yeah.
Like-
I'm
Munch
fine
is the only
with
dog I've met,
Yeah.
so Munch.
Okay, all right. You guys got to come and meet my dog.
And
Munch
he's
is an
great.
honorable second.
He's
for
great.
me.
Yeah, Munch is
met-
great.
I've met Mackenzie, but I'm sorry.
I was gonna allow you to not mention that part.
I have to put Munch a little
Okay,
higher.
that's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
Munch is great. I'm
He-
not gonna.
You
be
did
upset
live
about
with Munch for a
it.
little
Yes,
while, right?
exactly. Yeah, and Munch is a good boy. I'm not gonna be upset about that. Marcus Slays asks, what are your favorite dual lane compositions, ADC and support?
I have the best.
Oh, Terrahoye with me and Max season 4. That was my favorite ever.
Okay, Bobby.
I loved playing against Aurora's Serb and Freya in season 6 and just get breathed and killed at level 1.
Okay.
Izanami Ymir.
My favorite's Aphrodite Hell.
Okay,
I knew
all
you were
right,
saying
all
that.
right.
And I'll play either side of that.
All
I'm
right.
not-
All right. He's versatile. He's not even picky. Jake.
I remember playing against PBMs like it was like Fenrir Cupid, and they would jump on you, hit one stone, and then you're dead.
Yep. And then
That's
you're
a
just
good
dead.
one, too.
That's a class. That is a classic.
That is.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
Fenrir
a season
Cupid.
1 classic.
Yep. All right, last one we got time for. I'm sorry to everyone who submitted the questions. Blame me. At Moon Mellows, I think this applies to everyone here. Is it hard being that handsome and having to carry your team all the time? Mike, we'll start with you.
Carrying my team is very easy.
Being
I don't
handsome's the hard part.
I don't know about the first part.
Right, being handsome's the hard part. Bobby, how about
Well, I
you?
mean, I can't really carry my team, so Ronnie.
Can't win with these cats.
Well, I just gotta leave Shinto Farm and I will carry.
Just stay away from background
you
beats.
know Shinto's getting that far.
Oh
There's
yeah,
no doubt
that's
about
the thing.
it.
When Bobby was like, he lets, or someone said he lets Shinto farm.
It's
I
so
was
hard
like-
for me not to interrupt.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if he lets him. I think Shinto's taking it. Aurora?
Yeah, I don't know. Jake, you take it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta carry the boys to support. You gotta be the one getting in there.
Yep.
You know, try to be handsome along the way.
We'll try to be handsome along the way. I think everyone's succeeding here, guys. Thanks so much for the time to talk about the roll queue. Again, apologies for Twitter Q&A. Blame me. You can tweet at me. I'll just ignore it, and it won't bother me at all.